Gender Minister calls for stronger...
Hello, a very good morning. Welcome to the Mega News 6. News coming to you live from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, Noah Adegono. The news is also live on our social media handles, MBN 360. My name is El Samuels. The headlines.
Gender Minister calls for stronger justice systems for women at UN. In business, Finance Ministry clears 45.4 billion Ghana cedis contractor claims, rejects 8.1 billion Ghana cedis. And on the international front, Guinea dissolves 40 political parties, opposition leader cries foul.
The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Na Momo Late, has called for a stronger justice system to protect the girls' rights of women and the girls around the world.
Speaking at the 70th session of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women in New York City on International Women's Day, the minister stressed that gender equality cannot be achieved without an effective justice system for women. Dr. Late told global leaders that ensuring justice for women and girls is not only a legal duty, but also essential for promoting peace, human rights, and sustainable development. She highlighted several reforms introduced by the government to advance gender equality, including the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act and the new National Gender Policy. According to the minister, Ghana is strengthening gender-responsive justice systems by training judges, law enforcement officers, social workers, and paralegals to handle cases involving women and girls better. She also noted that the country has established specialized units within the Ghana Police Service and created gender desks across the country to improve the reporting and prosecution of gender-based violence. Despite the progress made, Dr. Lartey acknowledged that many women and girls still face social and economic barriers in accessing justice. She therefore called for stronger political commitment and global partnerships to ensure equal protection under the law for women and girls everywhere.
Thank you, Chairperson, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. It is an honor to address the 70th session of the Commission on the Status of Women. This session provides a valuable opportunity to reflect on and to renew our collective commitment to advancing gender equality and strengthening access to justice for all women and girls. Chairperson, in Ghana, ensuring access to justice for all women and girls is not only a legal obligation, but also a moral and developmental imperative. Justice remains a critical pillar for achieving equality, peace, and full realization of human rights and sustainable development, ensuring that no one is left behind. Guided by this commitment, Ghana has taken deliberate steps over the years to strengthen access to justice for all citizens. We have pursued legal and policy reforms to eliminate discriminatory provisions, expanded legal aid services, and strengthened institutions mandated to protect women and girls. Key among these frameworks are the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act, the National Gender Policy, the Social Protection Act, Protect Women and Girls. Key among these frameworks are the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act, the National Gender Policy, the Social Protection Act, the Cyber Security Act, the Land Act, and the Environmental Protection Act. Chairperson, Ghana continues to invest in building gender-responsive justice systems. This includes the training of judicial officers, law enforcement agencies, social service providers, and paralegals, including those operating within market spaces, to respond effectively and sensitively to cases involving women and girls. We are also intensifying community engagement to empower women and girls with knowledge of their rights so that they are better positioned to seek redress, demand accountability.
Away from the UN, the Deputy Minister for Finance, Thomas Nyako Ampem, has revealed that audit prevented a potential loss of over 159 million Ghana cedis in allowances meant for teacher trainees under the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC.
According to Nyako Ampem, the Ministry of Education had reported unpaid allowances totaling 160 million Ghana cedis. However, when auditors engaged GTEC, the agency confirmed that as of December 2024, no arrears were outstanding. The audit found that 6.1 million Ghana cedis appeared on the Ministry of Education's Bank Transfer Advisors BTA schedule at the Controller and Accountant General's Department, despite the same funds having already been paid by a donor partner. Speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, March 10, Nyako Ampem warned that such discrepancies could lead to double payments and expose weaknesses in financial oversight and coordination between donor contributions and government records. The Deputy Minister emphasized that the findings highlight the need for stronger monitoring and more effective coordination between government agencies and development partners to prevent financial mismanagement in the education sector.
Mr. Speaker, an amount of 6.1 million Ghana cedis appeared on the Ministry of Education's BTA schedule at the Controller and Accountant General's Department, even though the same funds had already been paid by a donor partner. Such entries opened a door for double payments and exposed a dangerous pattern of weak oversight and porous coordination between donor and government financial records. Mr. Speaker, auditors identified BTAs totaling 293 million Ghana cedis for 6 MDAs with no documentation. There were no contracts, no IPCs, and no record of any executed work.
Imani Center for Policy and Education has launched a new transparency campaign aimed at attracting the wealth accumulation of Ghana's public servants using the Rights to Information Act (RTI).
Announcing the initiative, the president of Imani, Franklin Kudjo, said the campaign is to challenge the long-standing practice of submitting assets declarations in sealed envelopes to the Auditor General, making them effectively inaccessible to the public. Under Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution, public officials are required to declare their assets upon entering office every 4 years and upon leaving office. However, for more than 3 decades, these declarations have remained hidden from public scrutiny. Imani argues that neither the Constitution nor the Rights to Information Act 2019, Act 989, explicitly mandates such secrecy. The campaign will begin with RTI requests targeting the assets declarations of Cecilia Abnadapa, former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, and Mohammed Baba Jamal Ahmed, Member of Parliament and former Deputy Minister. Imani describes these cases as test cases intended to trigger illegal ruling on the lawfulness of the sealed envelope practice. The strategy will proceed in stages, starting with RTI applications to the Auditor General, followed by internal review and appeal to the RTI Commission, and if necessary, judicial review and a constitutional challenge. Imani's ultimate goal is to establish a transparent assets declaration system that allows citizens to monitor changes in the wealth of public officials over time.
Away from the Imani story, let's move to the business desk, where the Ministry of Finance has disclosed that 45.4 billion Ghana cedis out of 68.7 billion in claims submitted by contractors and suppliers have been validated for payment following a comprehensive audit and verification exercise.
The review assessed outstanding payment requests presented to the government to determine the legitimacy of the claims before settlement. The Ministry of Finance has disclosed that 45.4 billion Ghana cedis out of 68.7 billion Ghana cedis in claims submitted by contractors and suppliers has been validated for payment following a comprehensive audit and verification exercise. He explained that the verification exercise was conducted by the Ghana Audit Service, working together with external audit firms to confirm the validity of unpaid claims submitted to the Ministry of Finance. According to him, the claims comprised interim payment certificates, IPCs, invoices, and bank transfer advices relating to advances owed to contractors and suppliers. Mr. Nyako Ampim indicated that outstanding IPCs and invoices amounted to 5.5 billion Ghana cedis, while bank transfer advices accounted for 18.3 billion Ghana cedis of the total claims reviewed. Following the verification process, 45.4 billion Ghana cedis of the claims was approved as valid and eligible for payment. However, 8.1 billion Ghana cedis was rejected outright after auditors identified several irregularities in the submissions. He explained that the rejected claims were disqualified for reasons including unsupported documentation, duplication of claims, overstated amounts, payments that had already been made, falsified receipt advices, and instances where payments requests were submitted for work that had not been carried out.
Mr. Speaker, auditors identified BTAs totaling 293 million Ghana cedis for 6 MPAs with no documentation. There were no contracts, no IPCs, and no record of any executed work. Mr. Speaker, the breakdown of the unsupported BTAs are as follows. Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, 241.2 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Roads and Highways, 26.3 million Ghana cedis. Judicial Service, 18.2 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Special Initiatives, 3.7 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Health, 2.4 million Ghana cedis. And the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, 782,262 Ghana cedis.
From the business desk, we go to the international front, where Guinea's main opposition leader said direct resistance to the country's coup and 10th president is now the only way to bring about change after the government consolidated its position by dissolving 40 political parties.
President Mamadi Doumbouya, a former Special Forces commander, seized power in 2021 and won a 7-year term as president in December in a result contested by his opponents. Legislative elections are expected in May in the West African nation, which is rich in bauxite and iron ore. Guinea's Ministry of Territorial Administration and Decentralization said in a decree late on Friday that 40 parties' headquarters and local offices would be closed and use of their logos, acronyms and other distinctive signs would be prohibited. The decree said the parties had failed to meet legal obligations such as filing financial statements. Several of the dissolved political parties have protested, maintaining they had fulfilled all legal requirements. He called on Guineans to engage in direct resistance without specifying what exactly that should look like, and he said political change would not happen through dialogue or democratic processes. Diallo is in exile outside the country, as is former President Alpha Conde, whom Doumbouya toppled and whose party was also dissolved on Friday. Guinea has a history of political violence, including during the 2020 election, which Diallo said he won. The December 2025 election was tightly controlled and unfolded without major security incidents.
Away from the international front, let's go to the weather center. I'll bring you the weather and its update in association with the Ghana Meteorological Agency. So on the weather and its updates, I believe that most everybody enjoyed some torrential rains yesterday. Thunderstorms or rains of varying intensities are currently affecting part of the southwestern flanks of the country, will persist into the mid-morning. Whilst a few areas may experience mist or fog patches early this morning, breaks of sunshine are expected to take over the atmosphere after a thorough to the afternoon throughout the day across all the sectors of the country. However, thunderstorms or rain are likely to occur in a few areas within the middle transition belt later in the day. Meanwhile, slightly hazy conditions will prevail over the extreme north portions of the country throughout the forecast period. The temperatures for the next 24 hours, a minimum of 23 degrees, a maximum of 33, is a coastal area. The forest will experience a minimum of 23, a maximum of 34 degrees, whilst transition a minimum of 22 degrees, a maximum of 35. Northern sector, minimum of 24 degrees, maximum of 39 degrees. And that brings us to the end of weather updates. For any unforeseen reasons, we may come your way with the weather later in the day or in the afternoon or in the evening hours when the news evening bulletin comes your way. Well, that brings us to the end of this morning's Mega News 6. But before we take a leave of you, let's take a second look at the stories making headlines.
Gender Minister calls for stronger justice systems for women at UN. In business, Finance Ministry clears 45.4 billion Ghana cedis contractor claims, rejects 8.1 billion Ghana cedis. And on the international front, Guinea dissolves 40 political parties, opposition leader cries foul.
more news, log on to MBN 360. The news came to you live from our studios located on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. My name is El Samuels. Up next, a sports update.
MBN, the gospel, news and entertainment.